And yesterday I was talking about the migraine I had and the brain fog and everything like that, energy wise, and all this stuff. And that actually kind of led me on to talking about what I was going to talk about last week about stress, fatigue, when we have kind of roller coasters of moods that one minute you feel fine, the next you feel really low, depressed, and unmotivated. And also why that sometimes when we go through this stuff, we end up so unmotivated that we just don't want to improve our health. And then it's a vicious circle because we start implementing the behaviors that cause our health to be worse, that cause even worse moods, even worse motivation, even worse fatigue. And it's, as I say, it's that vicious circle. So, how do we actually improve our stress management, our fatigue, our low moods, and get off that roller coaster to be on this flat line of actually feeling really good? And that sounds really like bad, being on a flat line, having a flat mood. Moods are going to go up, moods are going to go down, but we don't want those extreme bouncy moods like a roller coaster that you could be on. Now, what I'm going to do is in a little while, I'm going to switch off the stream here from my main Facebook page. And this is going to go on within my free group, the Stress Stomach Solution. So if you're not in there, get in there. We'll accept you as an invite, as a member. And I'm going to actually be putting out a free course on how to really level up your energy without going through stressful, restrictive diets or through hard exercise patterns. That is a working title because I know it needs to be a bit more catchy than that. But basically, there's going to be a free module course popped into that group that you can watch simply by getting into that group, the Stress Stomach Solution. So get yourself in there and you can see the rest of this video as well. Let me switch these off. Right, now, stress management, fatigue, low moods. I'd done this on Thursday originally, and then I realized after someone said, is it just me or is there no sound? Well, that kind of stressed me out. That frustrated me. And what we need to look at is that what is the actual reason for our low moods? Now, so many people go into different topics of they may go in and they look at the mind at some point and we say, I need to improve my mindset, start doing hypnotherapy, start doing meditation, start doing some journaling, some deep work and some work on yourself. And that's fine. All that stuff is going to be very beneficial. And then we get into the physical stuff of like doing the nutrition side, doing the exercise and all these other things. And that's fine. A lot of that is going to be very helpful to you. But a lot of people don't see both of these and merge them into one. So the start of being stressed, and I've got my notes here as well, the start of being stressed and any kind of fatigue, any kind of illness within the body, all starts off within your mind, because your mind is what is going to tell your body what to do, tell your hormones to be created, tell your organs to do what they need to do. Just like when you are sick, if we can change the mind, we can improve that sickness once again. So what I actually look at with clients is that when I work with high performing individuals is, are they actually where they want to be in life? Because a lot of people who have these low moods, have fatigue, have this roller coaster of emotion and low motivation, don't see themselves as where they want to be. They may look at it and say, oh, when I was younger, I thought that when I was 30, I would have this amount of kids, this amount of money, this size house, all these different things. Don't necessarily look at their life as to say, hey, I'm where I want to be, which is hard to get our head around, that we are exactly where we need to be right now. And again, that's a story for another video. But basically what happens is that there's all these different levels of stress, and it isn't necessarily financial stress that comes onto play here. Just because someone is poor doesn't inherently mean that they are higher stressed. It is what our perception of being poor looks like to that individual. So there was a study done on financially poor people, wealthy and kind of middle management, people in the corporate jobs, and based around their baseline levels of cortisol, their stress hormone cortisol. And it was shown that it wasn't those financially poor people that had the higher level of cortisol. It wasn't those high people that had that financial freedom, as you would have guessed. That it was those people that are in the middle. They've got a really good paying job. but they lack control. They lack a certain amount of autonomy within their life. And the most pressure that came on their mindset and their stress levels was those in middle management, because they have these very high levels of work that they're going through with the company, but they do not make the decisions. They have this management above them that looks down and says, you need to do this, you need to do that. So that was one of the things that looked into what was going on within their life. And when we don't know our purpose, it's not going to go too deep into the woo-woo side of things, but when we don't know our purpose, we struggle with fatigue much more often. So you wake up, you can't get out of bed, you just don't want to attack the day or anything like that. As much as I get triggered with some of those phrases, that you don't feel like you want to attack the day. And we struggle with this fatigue. And it is then that our mind starts getting low. We start going on this roller coaster and we start suffering more with stress. We start suffering more with sickness, with illness. And we need to look deeper into what is going on there and have this awareness around ourselves. Like, how much can we consciously see that is going on within our life that we could actually change? Because so many people I've seen fall into this vicious circle, myself included in the past, where we actually become a victim. We get so far down into this point where we know we need to change or we know we need to make a difference, but it seems so overwhelming that you're here and you want to get here. This kind of no man's land in the middle where you don't know whether you should start doing it or whether you should stay here because it's safe. But is it truly safe when we do not like this person we are back here? And that's where we have to look onto what could we actually change on the physiological side, the physical side of things. Because that absolutely could be causing you stress. It could be causing you poor moods. It could be causing you that fatigue. And that's where I look at with clients, is that we talk about the stress side of things. We talk about the mindset. We build up habits there, but we have to look and link that mindset into the physical side of things. So things such as poor diet, getting the right nutrition in you. It sounds played out, but getting the right nutrition in you is going to help your moods. Because not only that, if you've got poor diet and you've got poor nutrition going into you, chances are you've got poor blood glucose management as well. So your body isn't just showing signs of not getting the nutrients, it's actually showing signs of high blood sugar or low blood sugar, which is also going to irritate your gut lining as well. And as a problem, as a knock-on effect of that, we have something called our vagus nerve. And if our gut isn't working effectively, if there's inflammation going on there, this vagus nerve goes from our brain into our gut and it connects the two amongst with other organs. And that's when we send messages there. If we have a thing called poor vagal tone due to our poor gut health, we're going to struggle with our brain health as well. We're going to struggle with everything else that goes on around the body. And this is going to then mean that neurotransmitter production doesn't really work as effectively. We don't start recycling neurotransmitters or getting rid of waste and toxins and all that sort of stuff. And when we look into neurotransmitters, I'm talking things that you may have heard of with things like serotonin, the feeling content neurotransmitter. So if you're struggling with motivation, with low moods, constantly thinking I should be further ahead in life, something probably is going on with your serotonin production. And same with dopamine as well. Dopamine is your get up and go. So if you're struggling with low moods, low motivation, having that get up and go in life, chances are something is going on with the way your body either creates dopamine or the way it recycles dopamine and starts using it again. And that could be spurring from the way you eat, so the quality of your diet, not getting the nutrients in there, poor blood glucose management. Basically, when we eat, sugar or glucose gets into the bloodstream. We have to release insulin to grab that sugar and take it into the cells or into storage sites where it does its job. And we have too high levels of that, we start getting inflammation within the body. Taking a lot of science out there. This is not about science. This is about telling you the reason that you struggle with these moods. Then there could be things like active infections within the body. And one of the problems is that when we have active infections, so if you think of someone with a cold or flu that you've known in the past, then usually they get very, very fatigued. And we can actually have infections without knowing about them. And basically what happens, that stress hormone cortisol gets suppressed, and our immune system, basically what we call our innate immune system, which has loads of killer cells and looks to basically like the Ninja Turtles of our immune system, that is then going to go after the killer cells, those shredder cells, all that sort of stuff. The Ninja Turtles go to work. And as a result, we use resources from elsewhere. So usually you would find a higher body temperature, you would find fatigue, you'd find low moods, stuffy nose, all these different things. That's where we see people experiencing more pain. And it's very, very frustrating, because if you've got a cold, you usually know you've got a cold. If you've got the flu, you know you've got the flu, and you know you need to help yourself to then help your body. But if we've got an underlying infection that we do not know about, then it's going to be very, very hard for us to then start fighting that. And it can be very frustrating. If you saw my video yesterday, I was talking about I had a migraine because I accidentally had gluten on Friday, had a migraine on Saturday, and it was really bad. I started not being able to see. It was a hemiplegic migraine. My hand went numb, kind of similar symptoms to a stroke. But because I knew what the symptoms were and they are slightly different, and I'd had these years ago, I knew it was happening. But I also then know for like 2-3 days afterwards, I have to be super on top of things. I did eat a bit of crap on Saturday. My body was craving it. And honestly, like even the best of us will give in at sometimes when we are so fatigued that we want to eat chocolate. It was also my birthday Friday, so I had some of the chocolate that I got on my birthday. As a result, what happened then is that I knew that Sunday was basically a no-go. Monday, I just moved my client calls to today onwards. And I knew that I was going to feel weak. I was going to feel fatigued. I was probably not going to want to get out of bed. But because I knew these symptoms are happening, because I had the migraine, I knew why I had the migraine, I knew the differences in stress levels, it's okay, because I'm aware that, hey, it's only a small amount of time I have to go through this. If we don't have that awareness, like we don't know the infections are going on, we don't know we have intolerances to certain foods and to certain stress levels, then it can become very, very frustrating. And that's where we need to look deeper into these things, because if you do not know what is bloating you, if you do not know what is causing you fatigue, what is causing you to feel low, what is causing you to feel depressed, what's causing you to feel just weak on these side of things. And when I mean weak, physically weak, like I done 3 pull-ups today. I could usually do a good 10 or 12, something like that. I done 3 pull-ups and felt a bit weak. But if you don't know why, then it's so frustrating. So what we need to look at here is that what else is going on? Have you been training too hard for too long? Is the exercise the right thing for you? Is it too intense? Is it not intense enough? How are your recovery metrics? How is your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability? And have you simply been dieting for too long? We see a lot of people saying, are you eating too little to lose weight? Well, you could be eating too little to feel good, which is then causing you to fall off of the diet. And when I work with clients, we want to look at, are we able to get this body to function more effectively? Are we able to fuel this body better so you feel good? You're able to sleep through the night. You're able to not have cravings. You're able to just have no brain fog and just move forward. Because that way, yeah, you can be on a smaller calorie deficit and get better results. So we want to look at all these things going on there. So looking at like combining the physical and the mental. So your mood, where do you see yourself in life compared to where you think you should be, where you are right now? And that can impact your fatigue. Your neurotransmitter production can impact your mood, the dopamine, as we said, the get up and go, your serotonin to feel content, your blood glucose management. We want blood glucose fasted in the morning between 4.2 and 4.9. If you are in the US, then we want it between 80 and 90. So test your blood glucose, see where you're at, and then look at how is that impacting you. Too much or too little can irritate the gut lining, and that can have problems with the immune cells within the gut, with your gut's own nervous system, the enteric nervous system. There can be some problems there. Have you got underlying infections going on? Maybe yeast or fungal infections. These are things which can make a lot of difference that literally can go undiagnosed for years without us even realizing. And is there problems with other things going on? So something called methylation, which is responsible for like 200 different processes in the body, where we convert inactive to active nutrients and vitamins and minerals and all these different things. And Are you able to do that? Have you been stressed for too long, or the diet that you're on has allowed you to kind of pee out too many B vitamins, and we're now low and deficient on B vitamins? And this is something which I've looked at, is that I stopped some of my B vitamins over the week of my birthday. My diet wasn't as good. We were allowed to eat out. I didn't cover all my bases. So I've ordered some extra B vitamins. I've ordered some inflammation supplements going on, and I've ordered, what else did I order? To restock my multivitamin. And I know there are things which I'm going to need to replenish what has been going on with stress levels. So, and another thing we need to do, and something which I know a lot of people do not spend the time that they need to spend on this, and it's I've done a 6-week course in a mastermind I'm part of, and I got asked the question there: if you were to have a hierarchy of what you consider the most important, would blood glucose be at the top there? Blood glucose would be pretty close to the top. But the first thing, number one thing, would be your sleep management, your circadian rhythm. Being consistent with that. Yes, sleep is going to be there for clearing out crap and regeneration of cells and all these things, but we need to make sure that we have consistency, because if you have the way you wake up, okay, have that consistent. The way you sleep, consistent. The timings, that is not the way, the timings you wake up and the timings you sleep for all 7 days, because so many people will regulate Monday to Friday, but not the weekends. So they have this block of like 6 a.m. wake, 10 p.m. sleep, 6 a.m., 10, 6, and so on. In the weekends, it'll be pushed. So it's like 9, 10 a.m. wake, and then 12, 1, 2 a.m. sleep. And they wonder why their body clock is all over the show and their cravings are all over the place. That sleep time, the wake time, they regulate the hormones in your body. They regulate your digestive system, the way your body releases insulin, all these different things. Your neurotransmitters all regulated based around your circadian rhythm. So the number one thing I would do is one of the modules that I talk about on this free course. If you're interested in that, simply drop me a message and I can add you to the group. To be fair, you're in the group now if you're watching this video. The Stress Stomach Solution, if you're in this group, then you will be able to have access to this course, which I will be recording in the next 2 weeks, where we're going to be able to show you how to optimize sleep, how to optimize your blood glucose levels, and get you really moving forward with that. But sleep, blood glucose management, and stress management, they are the biggest things that are going to impact your life and how you go about really feeling optimal with high levels of energy, high levels of performance, low fatigue, moods the way you want those moods, and really, really help you start to help yourself. If you need help with this stuff, you know where I am. Drop me a message, drop a comment. If you know someone that can benefit from this, someone that maybe if it's your partner, you probably don't say, look, watch this video because you're so moody all the time, but maybe give them a nudge, say, hey, Ollie's done this video on moods, on fatigue, on stress management. Let them know about it, get them into the group, let them watch the video, or simply tag someone that could benefit from this, because I'm super, super frustrated because I was that person that would have these low moods without knowing why. Drop me a message if you need help and we can look further into it. Have a great day and thank you.